Hello everyone, my name is Bandit and welcome back to yet another casting video. For today's video, I'll be taking what we know of the Survivor 43 cast, dropping it in the bin, and making an entire returnee cast with some custom rules. And here we go. Obviously this video is based off the new season of Survivor South Africa, Return of the Outcasts, featuring 20 contestants with 10 being pre-merge boots and 10 being merge boots. However, I also can pick runners up or winners since, much like South Africa's theme, these people had to get their torches snuffed. It'll make more sense when I develop the cast. This cast will also feature one-time players returning from season 35 and onward. Moreover, since this is season 43, we will have to abide by the diversity mandate, so at least 50% of this cast has to be black, indigenous or people of colour. As always, make sure to leave a like if you enjoyed. Firstly, we're starting with Triple H, and hot out of the gate we have two pre-mergers. The first is a legend himself in Alan Ball. In season 35, Alan was a fantastic presence with the "I'm going to say it how it is" mentality. I mean, who else is going to make another contestant literally strip down for an idol?
Even though, so the idol in your pants right now, I'm tripping about.
If he has an idol, I know nothing about it.
No, don't turn around. Why you turn around? I know you got the idol, my man. Where is it at?
Alan is starting to lose his mind.
But he was an NFL player that, excuse the pun, dropped the ball at the 4th tribal of the season and fell victim to one of Joe's umpteen idols. In spite of this, irrespective of if Alan flames out just as early on the return, he'll guarantee some hilarious moments. From hero to hustler we go to Ali, who I casted for an entirely different reason. Rather than Alan, who will have explosive standout moments, Ali is a Kelly Wentworth player who, in my mind, has a lot more potential than on her original season. Despite yet again being another contestant knocked out before the merge, it was literally the round before, and even then she survived a round on an unfortunate swap tribe. On the Hustlers tribe she had great positioning and was constantly in the swing spot. At the swap, she was let down by her ally Ryan, who flipped on her to save Chrissy. Again, like I've already said, she'd be a contender for the crown on this season. Ghost Island also had two pre-merge boots, and I must say, in spite of this season having poor edits, the pre-merge boots on this season were rather strong, with stories that led into nice redemption arcs, beginning with the first pre-merger, Stephanie. Now for me, Stephanie is a full package on Survivor. She's pretty physical, has a strategic mind for the show, and socially integrated herself within the majority on Malolo. In fact, she was so good at being social that Jacob literally told her his idol was fake.
I lied about one thing, and I'm only going to tell you about this because I trust you.
Okay.
Idol's not real.
Shut up.
I'll tell you this, everything else I said was real.
Jacob divulged everything to me. His idol was fake. I knew it in my bones.
But I would love to see more confessionals where she bashes people on top of her really intriguing personal story. Let's just hope this time she doesn't end up on another Orange tribe. This then segues to fellow Malolo member James, who got an unlucky second swap, causing him to be down in the numbers. But in spite of not having much knowledge of the show of Survivor, James showed a natural ability to play the game. In spite of stuffing up the second challenge, he survived the vote, and then, at the next tribal at the swap, he pulled off a massive blindside on Morgan. This is even more impressive, considering this was the only point of the game Dominic and Wendell were truly tripped up before completely running the game. He's likely to do well in the return, so let's see it happen. I'll be honest, whittling Devons vs Goliath down to 4 contestants, Survivor's maximum of casting per season lately, was nearly impossible. If they genuinely announced season 38 had the entire Devons vs Goliath cast again, I wouldn't complain. Nobody was a dud on this cast. But one person that shone a little brighter than her pre-merge competition was the napalm throwing Queen Goliath Natalie. Natalie's great. I loved her. In fact, I don't think the Goliath dynamics would have been nearly as interesting had it not been for her presence. In spite of her age, she wasn't afraid to school others with biting confessionals against Jeremy in particular.
You talked that brother-sister love stuff, and you showed me no love. So that stinging sensation you feel in your eyes right now, that's a Natalie napalm. Get off of my island. By the way, your skin is gorgeous, darling.
Plus, Natalie was responsible for so many iconic moments. There's Jackagate, Egggate, the list goes on. From a season with lots to choose, to Edge of Extinction. Yeah, pre-mergers weren't in huge supply. When you take out the fact Chris and Rick returned to the game, so weren't eligible, and Aubrey was a returnee, so she inherently wasn't eligible, you're left with only 3. Reem, Keith, and Wendy. Moreover, the latter 2 quit. So yeah, I'm not entirely spoiled for choice. That being said, I did pick Reem. I think most will agree with me that the only upside to Edge of Extinction as a theme was seeing the fantastic character that is Reem Daly. She was unbelievably entertaining, and even spawn-killed the hopes of those that wronged her, coming to the island and hoping they'd have a caring invite.
Man, I got blindsided. Man, I can't believe it. Like, seriously, you voted me out, and he totally blindsided Keith, so that is a taste of your own medicine.
I mean, I feel like my Survivor experience went because of you.
We're oil and water, so why are you even sitting next to me? Water's over there. Roll on over to it.
I'm gonna sit where I want to sit, Rick.
You are an ass.
From screwing others verbally to being screwed by an advantage, we hop over to Island of the Idols with Jason Linden. Probably one of the most screwed pre-merge contestants to ever exist. In spite of being a social pariah, Jason showed an innate survivability and even chopped the head off the Queen in a notable blindside, which left the Jack and King scrambling on the bottom. His relationship with Nora was also fun, and it was fun seeing them be their goofy selves. Even on his swap tribe, despite being on the tribe with fewer numbers, Jason still had good positioning, showing he could play the game well. It was just unfortunate Elaine found her block of vote advantage at the perfect time, meaning the Lyros could stick together and eliminate Jason in a narrow 4-3 blindside. Without this twist, Vokai probably flip Aaron, resulting in Jason being safe until merge and thereafter making a deep run. Then on to Survivor 41, a season with pretty heavy top editing, but regardless, some pre-merge boots stood out to me. First was Brad. Don't be fooled by his clueless demeanour and big smile. Brad showed a lot of Tony Vlachos-esque moments on his original showing. From running around the island like a maniac, to spying on people from the bushes, to having a collection of advantages mere days into the game, Brad showed he was there to play hard.
But I'll tell you, it's just, I'm loving this game. I'm loving all the twists and all the turns and all the danger. High risk. I just love high risk.
I enjoyed Brad a lot in 41. He had this infectious energy that we could feel from the viewer, and it was all thanks to him seeming to enjoy literally every second on the island. This pre-merger may be a bit controversial, not because of anything they did in 41, but because of if they can actually be considered a pre-merge boot. However, when all the tribes came together at 12, they technically weren't merged. So screw it. If Jeff can have his cake and eat it too, I will. I added Sydney. For me, Sydney was just incredible TV. I consider her the female equivalent of Tyson, although some others have called her modern day Courtney Yates, yet another comparison I don't disagree with. But Sydney proved, despite her small stint on 41, that she was a worthy contestant, as she was within the majority on her original tribe alongside Danny and Deshaun, and was a beast in challenges. Plus, I'll be honest, having someone on the cast who is going to rip the ever-living soul out of cast members is hilarious, and something I'm absolutely here for. For my final pre-merger, I took someone from Survivor 42. Sure, the season just finished, but typically on these all-returnee casts, a slot or two are reserved for big players from the prior season. So I went with the man who was just pipped at the post, Daniel. Daniel was an incredible villain that showed game ability while also being a goofball, making him a really fascinating returnee. His self-destructive downfall was really fun to watch, and if nothing else, we'll get a man who will call out literally anyone, not just in the confessional booth, but also to their faces. Now to everyone that made the merge, and remember, they can't have made the final tribal council. I actually zoomed straight to Devons vs Goliath and picked 3 big characters from that season. First is Christian. Like, how do you say no to a Christian return? It was amazing seeing this socially awkward data scientist burrowing down with the Goliath dudes before slaying them one after another. His charm was out of this world, he won immunity challenges, found idols, and made it to the final 7 despite his enormous threat level. For how lovable he is, he already deserves a return, but the fact he's a strong player too is the cherry on top. In the same vein, we'll go with 6th place finisher Davey, responsible for one of the best advantage plays in the history of Survivor.
For the people in my alliance, I'm sorry I had to hide this from you guys, but I think you'll understand. And I'm nervous, Jeff, but I'm more nervous for Christian. This is for him, okay?
Thanks to Davey's idol play and a minority vote split, they burnt an idol and took out the strongest Goliath in John, cementing Davey's resume for why he should return. He was a perpetual underdog that used his advantages to the maximum, whilst being really the only one during the season to actually identify Nick Wilson as a winner threat. The pitch for Davey is more explosive moves, fantastic confessionals, and how could I say no to that big smile? The final David, or should I say Davette, comes in the form of Gabby. And I know, on first glance, I know people will be scratching their heads as to why I cast both Christian and Gabby, considering they're pretty similar. But hopefully I can justify my casting decision. Firstly, it'll be fun to see Gabby and Christian playing together again, considering their fun chemistry on Devons vs Goliath. But I also have to give credit to Gabby, who acknowledged Christian as being such a shoo-in to win, and wanting to blindside him, something some allies straight up refused to do despite knowing. Looking at no one from the previous season in particular. So her being bested by Christian and his idol despite their alliance would also create a fun redemption arc for Gabby. She's a very underrated player. So let's slow down for a second for our next pick. I'm going to say 4 words and you say the player that pops into your head. Edge of Extinction Merge. Well, for me, that was Rick Devons, a man who essentially made that portion of the game what it was. Immediately, he has a redemption arc for Season 43, as on Edge of Extinction, he was on a struggling tribe, got swapped unfortunately onto, the exact same tribe, and got voted out, then returned to the game to be the massive jury threat he is known to be now. While I don't respect needing immunity trains to win from a game perspective, it was deeply entertaining to watch Rick cockroach his way through tribe after tribal. Plus, those idol plays, man. The delivery, that final 8 idol play in particular, was just beautiful.
Except, you've proven time and time again that you're untrustworthy and disloyal. And Julie's proven time and time again that she loves lying to people's faces.
And through his superb use of theatrics, whether at tribal or in the confessional booth, I think Rick will add an element of entertainment so unique that I have to add him. Then Island of the Idols, and I stand by the fact this probably would have been an enjoyable season had someone kept their hands to themselves. So much like Devons vs Goliath, I got 3 more returnees. First is the merge boot Kelly, and while she's the earliest boot of this merge tribe, if you count Rick as making it to 4th place, she definitely showed to be a heavy hitter. First, she found 3 idols on her season and was voted out with 2, making her the second person in Survivor history to be eliminated with multiple idols in her pocket. But with her first idol, she made a move by giving it to Dean and blindsided Jack, while not even voting for him. At merge, she was blindsided, but as we all know, that was due to some incredibly icky factors, so she has the credentials to warrant a second shot. Then we have Elaine, quite frankly the queen of quips. Elaine's one of a kind, and her quirky humour definitely sets her apart from the norm. I think what's also great about Elaine is her ability to survive everything thrown at her. Despite receiving vote after vote pre-merge, she made it through. If Elaine can pull off an entertaining underdog run similar to her first appearance on this cast, then I'll be happy. Then finally, I added Lauren Beck. Without a doubt, she's one of the best strategists to be on this cast. Alongside Tommy, they dominated Island of the Idols, and she proved to be the better of the two in regards to threat management, because Tommy was targeted at tribals over her. Plus, she almost made it to the final 3, with great odds to beat Tommy, but was beaten by one of his lackeys in a fire-making contest. Plus, it'll be fascinating to see if she can continue her strategic dominance in another season. Now into Survivor 41, and first up is Shan. Now, I'm not the biggest Shan fan, but even I can admit that it'd be odd not to see her on the next returnee season. Her influence on season 41 cannot be understated, from the pre-merge where she had everyone in her pocket, to the merge where she created the Black Alliance, to even after her elimination where lines were drawn based on Shan's alliances. She was a strong villain on the season, and, I mean, she literally had her own Shanthem. Sing it loud and proud for us, Shan.
And I have a soundtrack that I hum in my head when I'm up to evil. Like, literally, I have a soundtrack that I hum.
But Shan wasn't the only form of UA representation, because I also invited Ricard, renowned for being the "you should have one person" on the show. He was a major presence on the show, and I actually really liked his storyline of playing Survivor, an inherent social game, despite being half deaf. He was ultimately a triple threat that won challenges, made social bonds with pretty much everyone, and even organised the blindsides on players with idols in their pockets like Nasir and Shan. Finally, I picked someone from season 42. This player honestly displayed a lot of game ability, and so I selected Omar. And what is there to say? Omar controlled 42. He was in everyone's pocket, had a constant swing position, and even was responsible for flipping the majority on Lydia. This is made even more impressive by the fact he got Mike and Hyde to vote for her closest allies. I've also covered this in my Ingenious Moves video, but I also loved the lie he told to Mike at the final 8 to sever his relationship with Hai.
Can I tell you what his plan is according to him to me?
Yeah.
Hai came to me and said, Mike will do anything I say in this game. He is my puppet.
Hai has never told me that Mike was a puppet, but hearing those words just supercharged Mike.
So, much like his tropical birds, Omar squeaks into the final 20 for the new Survivor 43 season. But that's the end of the video talking about Survivor 43, but it's Return of the Outcasts. How did I do? Let me know in the comments down below, and if you want, make your own cast too, with or without my criteria. As you may expect, Survivor South Africa is finally on our screens, so I'll be covering the season with a few guest appearances and videos, so stay tuned for that. Subscribe if you enjoyed, share it with your friends, and as always, peace!